It started with a letter taped to my cabin door, immediate removal notice, unauthorized structure encroaching on HOA-controlled lake property. I almost laughed. My cabin had been here long before the HOA even existed. It wasn't encroaching, it was the very heart of the land I owned outright. But behind the legal-sounding language, I could see Karen's fingerprints all over it. Within a week, HOA contractors arrived with clipboards, measuring tape, and even a bulldozer parked at the marina. Karen strutted around giving orders like she was the mayor, telling anyone who would listen that my cabin would be cleared to restore the lake. Neighbors whispered, shocked, but Karen was confident. She even held a community meeting declaring my cabin illegally placed. I sat quietly in the back until she finished her grand speech about reclaiming HOA authority. Then I stood, pulled a folded envelope from my jacket, and laid the county land records on the table. Karen, I said, voice calm but sharp enough to cut through the room, this cabin sits on my land. And not just the cabin. I own the lake, the shoreline, and the property your HOA is built on. That makes me your landlord. The silence was deafening. People leaned in, eyes wide. Karen's smirk dropped into stunned disbelief. She tried to sputter something about community bylaws, but I pointed to the official seals and deeds signed years before the HOA ever formed. The documents didn't just prove ownership, they proved the HOA had no legal claim to anything they were threatening me with. The sheriff, who'd been called to oversee the demolition, took one look at the papers and shut the whole operation down on the spot. He even warned Karen that she could face charges for attempted property damage. The next week, I received an apology letter from the HOA board, short, begrudging, and dripping with embarrassment. Karen, however, couldn't bring herself to face me again. Now, whenever I sit on my porch overlooking my lake, I smile knowing the HOA tried to bulldoze me out and ended up realizing I'm the one holding the deed to their entire kingdom.